The APAC Countdown Cup threw up a bunch of very close matchups on one side of the bracket, with the Chengdu Hunters taking on the London Spitfire and the Hangzhou Spark going up against the Seoul Dynasty. This latter matchup was slated to be particularly close, with the season series between the two being 3 wins to 2 in favor of the Spark. A path to the finals was ahead of both teams, and as the match began, the Dynasty very clearly had the advantage and used it to jump to a 2-0 lead. Their backs may have been against the wall, but the Spark didn't falter, and responded with map victories on Temple of Anubis and Route 66 to even up the series, and send it to a deciding map 5 on Lijiang Tower. As the teams rolled out on the garden stage of Lijiang Tower, the Spark's Brigitte player Mika was just about ready to unleash the performance of his life, and set the Spark on the path to completing the reverse sweep of the Seoul Dynasty. On this week's Behind the Action, we take a look at how a couple of key whip shots from this Brigitte single-handedly decided the stage.
Turning defense into offense.
As both teams roll out on the first fight, both teams use Symmetra Teleporter to gain an early positioning. But this fight is swung first on Godsby managing to land a hack onto Marvel before Bebe lands a perfect biotic grenade onto Marvel and Toby. The Spark used this to go aggressive, and thanks to a Mika shield bash, Marvel is unable to escape. This sequence of plays allows the Spark to take the first capture and set up on the point. As the Dynasty look to push back in, they send Fitz ahead to scout out the positioning of the Spark. Due to the Dynasty's composition being more dive-oriented with its Winston and Tracer, the Dynasty don't want to push through the choke point of the White Room onto the point. This leaves Seoul's option for diving in and taking space while crossing the bridge. There is an inherent danger in trying to cross this bridge due to the 2 death pits on either side. Any knockback or boop from the members of the Spark as the Dynasty cross the bridge could spell disaster for Seoul's push. Mika is very clearly aware of this, and using the third-person camera he gets from activating his shield, he is able to scout when the most vulnerable members of the Dynasty are crossing the bridge. The Dynasty send their Winston and Tracer in to clear space across the bridge, before the rest of their team try to follow. Mika pops out from behind his cover and lands a perfect whip shot on Tuyu to send him careening over the edge of the bridge to his death. Not content with just getting the opening elimination of the fight, Mika then pushes into the supports of the Dynasty as they cross the bridge and lands another perfect shield bash and whip shot to send Toby flying off the bridge also. On the next fight, Mika once again sets up on a wall waiting for the Dynasty to dive in. The Spark decide to be proactive and engage with Godsby and Gushue diving into their backline before they cross the bridge. Seoul attempt to counter-dive by sending in Marvel and Prophet into the Spark's backline. Mika, however, spots Prophet as he tries to cross over the pond and immediately stuns him, knocking him back and denying him the chance to join Marvel and Fitz on their initial dive, negating a lot of the damage potential. This also allows more time for their own dive to find value in the Dynasty's backline. The dive from the rest of the Spark find enough purchase to give them the teamfight win and keep the Spark in charge of the point. Mika knows a good hiding spot when he sees one, and on his next push he takes up the exact same position he was in before, as he uses his third-person camera from the shield to peek around the corners and watch as the Dynasty attempt to once again cross the bridge. The Dynasty have lost their Sombra player Fitz earlier in the teamfight, and in response the Dynasty have gone aggressive to compensate, by popping their Brigitte's rally as they charge across the bridge. As they do so, the Spark use their EMP to counter this push, and Mika attempts to hit the whip shot onto the rallying Brigitte but misses it by a hair. Not discouraged, Mika once again charges in, this time popping his own rally to go crashing into the Dynasty's support line. Mika once again marches forward and lands a perfect shield bash on Tuyu before whipshotting him off the edge to promptly put a halt to the Dynasty's push. Not forgetting his support duties, he then chases down Prophet to make sure that he can't get anywhere near his Ana. This teamfight victory also results in the members of the Dynasty being eliminated separately, meaning that the Dynasty will have to scramble just to touch the point and trigger overtime. The Dynasty are able to trigger the overtime. Once they've done so, Marvel jumps off of the point behind Spark so that he and Fitz can set up a dive onto Bebe. As Marvel rotates, Fitz comes out of stealth and immediately lands a hack onto Bebe. As he does so, Marvel begins his engagement, but the Spark immediately spot him and force him down to the point, where he has to use his Primal Rage in order to survive. As Marvel attempts to leap on top of Bebe, Mika is there once again with his whip shot to perfectly smack Marvel away and end him back over the wall and into the pond below before his jump cooldown can reset again. With Seoul's ability to contest the point greatly reduced by Mika getting rid of Marvel, Mika bounds forward and lands a perfect stun to eliminate Prophet, securing the point and then the stage. Thanks to Mika's excellent positioning and timing, the Spark were fully able to cleanly take the stage, setting them on the path to completing the reverse sweep against the Dynasty on their way to the APAC Finals. Thanks for watching. What did you think of Mika's play on this map? Let us know in the comments below.